Greetings to all. Today we are going to learn about the lesson 2 of series, federalism. In chapter 1, we have learned that the division of power among different levels of government is one of the major forms of power sharing in modern democracies. In this chapter, we will understand the theory and practice of federalism in India. Towards the end of the chapter, we will know about the local government, a new and third tier of Indian federalism. Before going into the lesson, first we will find out what is the meaning of federalism or definition of federalism. Federalism is a system of government in which power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. A federation has two levels of government. Both these levels of governments enjoy their power independent of the either. One is the government for the entire country that is usually responsible for a few subjects and a common national interest. Government at the level of provinces or states that look after much of the day-to-day administering of their state. Example we can take as USA. Unitary system of government. Only one level of government or subunits are subordinate to the central government. The central government can pass an order on orders to the provincial or local government. The central government is supreme and the administrative divisions exercise only powers that the central government has delegated to them. Their powers may be broadened and narrowed by the central government. Whereas in federal government, there are two or more levels of government, or they are also called as tiers, TIERS. The central government cannot order the state government to do something. State government has powers of its own for which it is not answerable to the central government. Sources of revenue are clearly specified. Court interprets the constitution and powers of different levels of government. And Supreme Court is the umpire if disputes arise with different levels of government. What are the key features of federalism? There are two or more levels of government. Different tiers of government govern the same citizens, but each tier has its own jurisdiction in specific matters of legislation, taxation, and administration. The existence of authority of each tier of government is constitutionally guaranteed. The federal system has dual objectives: to safeguard and promote the unity of the country, to accommodate regional diversity. Two crucial aspects of an ideal federalism. Government at different levels should agree to some rules of power sharing. Trust and agreement to live together must be there. Different routes through which federations can be formed. Two aspects are crucial for the institutions and practice of federalism: mutual trust between the government of different levels and agreements to live together. There are two kinds of routes through which federations have been formed. The first route involves independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit. This kind is called as coming together federation. And best example for this USA. Here all constituent states have equal power. Holding together second route is that the large country decides to divide its power between constituent states and national government. This kind is called as holding together. Center is more powerful, vice versa the states. Constant units of federation have unequal powers. Example is India, Spain and Belgium. What makes India a federal country? Constitution. All the features of the federal system apply to the provisions of the Indian Constitution. The Indian Constitution is a threefold distribution of legislative powers between the union government and the state governments. The three lists are mentioned below. Union list, it includes subjects of national importance such as the defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communication, and currency. The union government alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in this list. Next one is state list. It contains subjects of state and local importance such as police, trade, commerce, agriculture, and irrigation. The state governments alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in this list. Concurrent list, it includes subjects of common interest to both the union government as well as the state governments. The list includes education, forest, trade unions, marriage, adoption, and succession. Both the union as well as the state government make laws on the subjects mentioned in this list. If there are any conflicts with each other, the law made by the union government will be considered. Union list has subjects of national importance. Union alone can make laws. Defense, banking, currency, foreign affairs, and communication. In a state list, it has subjects of local and state importance. State government here, state government alone can make laws. Police, trade, commerce, agriculture, and irrigation comes other examples. Concurrent list has subjects of common interest both to center and state. Both the center and state can frame laws. Education, forest, trade, union, marriage, adoption, and succession are the this comes under the concurrent list. How is federalism practiced in India? The real success of federalism in India is attributed to its nature of democratic politics. We look at some of the major ways in which federalism is practiced in India. First is linguistic states. The creation of linguistic states was the first and the major test for democratic politics in India from 1947 to 2017. Many old states have vanished and many new states have been created. Areas, boundaries, and names of the states have been changed. Some states have been formed of the people who speak the same language. These states are known as linguistic states. Then, language policy. A second test for Indian Federation is the language policy. Hindi was identified as the official language. Besides Hindi, there are 221 other states recognized as scheduled languages by the Constitution. States to have their own official languages and government work takes place in the official language of concerned state. And the third one is center-state relations. Restructuring the center-state relations is one more way in which federalism has been strengthened in practice. If no single party gets a clear majority in the Lok Sabha, the major national parties can alliance with many parties, including several regional parties, to form a government at the center. This led to a new culture of power sharing and respect for the autonomy of state governments. Next is decentralization. Decentralization in India. When power is taken away from central and state government and given to the local government, it is called as decentralization. The basic idea behind decentralization is that there are a large number of problems and issues which are best settled at the local level. Local people can only directly participate in the decision making. A major step towards decentralization was taken in 1992. The constitution was amended to make the third tier of democracy more powerful and effective. Here we can see the three key features of three tiers of democracy. It is constitutionally mandatory to hold regular elections to local government bodies. Seats are reserved in the elected bodies and the executive heads of these institutions for their scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes. At least one third of all positions are reserved for women. State Election Commission has been created in each state to conduct panchayat and municipal elections. The state governments are required to share some powers and revenue with local government bodies. The nature of sharing varies from state to state. Panchayati Raj system, local self-government in rural areas, village level, block level, district level. Rural local government is popularly known as Panchayati Raj. Each village or a group of villages in some states has a Gram Panchayat. Gram Panchayat. This is a council consisting of several ward members, often called Panch, and a president or Sarpanch. They are directly elected by all the adult population living in a village or ward. Gram Panchayat is the decision-making body for the entire village. Panchayat works under the overall supervision of the Gram Sabha. All the voters in the village are its members. It has to meet at least twice or thrice in a year to approve the annual budget of the Gram Panchayat and to review the performance of the Gram Panchayat. When Gram Panchayat are grouped together, they form a Panchayat Samiti or block or mandal. The member of Panchayati Samiti representative are elected by all the Panchayat members in that area. All the Panchayat Samitis or mandals in a district together constitute the Zilla Parishad. Members of the Lok Sabha MLAs of the district, some other officials of other district level bodies are the members of Zilla Parishad. Municipalities. A Gram Panchayat is for rural areas. Similarly, we have municipalities for the urban area, towns. Big cities are constituted into municipal corporations, are controlled by the elected body consisting of people's representatives. The municipal chairperson is the political head of the municipality. In a municipal corporation, such an officer is called mayor. This new system of local government is largest experiment in democracy conducted anywhere in the world. Constitutional status for local government has helped to deepen democracy in our country. It has also increased women's representation and voice in our democracy. With this, thank you children. With this we come to the end of the lesson.